Okay, so this is going to be a short video. I just want to quickly touch on this topic, which has been gaining a little bit of steam over the past couple of months. Video games are too cheap, considering the amount of entertainment and value they offer us, says Capcom, says the overpaid CEO. And surprisingly, well, not really, some of you fucking asshats, reverberating that hot, steamy pile of bullshit. Now, this isn't exactly a new sentiment, they've been echoing this nonsense for years. But since it's picking up a little bit of traction and now they have even more of you guys over on their side of thinking, the bunch of mindless corporate sheep cocksucking motherfuckers that you are, let's take a moment to discuss. Number 1. Microtransactions. They used to hop on microtransactions like it was the great equalizer. We added microtransactions because games are so expensive to make. Most of the time, these microtransactions are raking in more money than the game itself, an absurd amount of money. But the truth is, no matter how much these games make, the people, the bright minds behind them, the people that are actually coming up with the ideas, creating the animations, putting in the background music, the people that are actually talented creating these games, withstanding a one-time bonus, which is often dependent on a Metacritic score, the developer's pay grade will often stay the same no matter how much a game makes. Unlike the sorry sack of shit in a business suit sitting in a lounge chair all day long smoking on a cigar, his pay will go up dramatically. And if you think raising the price of video games is going to raise the standard across the entire industry in terms of pay and all this other shit, you are even more naive than I thought. The only one that stands to benefit off a price hike are the ones way at the top, just like every other part of fucking life. And so anytime you hear the words or you read the words, games are too cheap, I want you to envision a glutton in a business suit sipping away on champagne on his yacht on the coast of Cape Martin, standing on the bow of his super yacht with his arms raised, screaming, "We want more money." These companies are getting on just fine. Every year their worth is going up. If it's not, it's because they're doing something wrong and they're getting too greedy and we're pushing back. But if you really truly do care about developers and what they're getting paid, support indie games. That is where you'll make the biggest impact. Do not think for a moment that that extra money is going to go back into the industry and make it a better place for everybody, because it is not. They act like they have to spend hundreds of millions in marketing and have to spend all this money to make these AAA games. Like Blizzard, for example, with Diablo 4. Renting out those huge, extravagant billboards, and then following it up with an indiscriminate, relentless bombardment of shilling by these very expensive, paid Hollywood actors and influencers that none of us can stomach. They act like they have a gun to their head, that it's mandated that they spend so much fucking money, especially in areas where it doesn't actually improve the quality of the game. And look, I get it, Johnny Silverhand was awesome, but most of the time, I don't think it would have made a fucking rat's ass of a difference if they would have hired a very expensive Hollywood actor to do the voice acting, or somebody more local to this industry. Usually they have more passion, they don't have a giant fucking ego. Let's be honest, they often do a better job. They don't think they're too good to actually come to the studio, unlike some of these Hollywood has-beens that are clearly phoning it in. Not to mention, a lot of times I'll be playing a game and as soon as that Hollywood actor starts talking, all I can think about is their face. And it's kind of breaking the immersion. And the crazy thing is, even after all of that reckless spending, the marketing and all that shit, Blizzard still made billions. That's right, billions of fucking dollars off of Diablo 4. And that is just counting how many copies were sold. North of 10 million copies. Not including the microtransactions, which again is often an even bigger money generator for these companies. Not to mention, every AAA video game isn't going to be worth the extra money. I mean, I lost count of these day one AAA train wrecks. It often feels like you're just making a donation. Flushing $70 down the toilet is such a shitty feeling. And so we're supposed to reward that. Reward all of them for the few developers that are actually putting out a quality product. Who aren't littering their game with microtransactions where there is maybe a real argument to be made that their game is worth a little bit more. The swing between Ubisoft, Activisions, and the Electronic Arts of the world, and the itty-bitty, teeny-weeny, small handful of developers that are making AAA games that were lucky enough not to get caught in their grasps, that is just too large of a swing. And so even if you are willing to consider a price hike in AAA games, that has to be done on a case-to-case basis. The market has to decide what they think is worth more or not. It can't just be across the board, we're going to just increase the price of all AAA games sort of thing. That will be disastrous. I want to emphasize, nobody is forcing them to spend so much money into marketing and all this other shit. Alan Wake 2 had almost none of that, yet it's selling like crack. This idea that the more money they get or make, the better their games will be is complete and utter bullshit. Time and time again, we've seen the direct opposite. In fact, it seems like the more money they make, the more bullshit their games become. So we have seen one-man shows, okay? One developer making amazing video games that we play the shit out of because it goes to show you, money will only take you so far. The three most important elements in video game making, obviously talent, but also passion and time. And it's no secret these AAA studios never give their developers enough time, which sucks the passion right out of them. The next time somebody says to you, games are too cheap, hand them a dildo. Because that person clearly can't get enough of fucking himself.